The key issue for us was when we realised that the government was actually to consider the proposition of burying nuclear waste under a national park. What disturbed people most was that they were not being honest with us.
Local people in Fry and Barnet heard that some libraries were going to be closed in the borough. One of the libraries was Fry and Barnet Library. This building was going to be bulldozed. It was going to be sold to developers.
Beverley's a Georgian town, a beautiful Georgian town. The thing which draws people to Beverley is it's relatively unspoiled. The council have in recent years started a despoiling process, and they were about to continue it by ripping up 200-year-old cobble sets, as they're called, and Yorkstone pavements and granite curbs, and people were deeply disturbed about it but felt absolutely impotent.
Local people really felt powerless.
And it was really important that we tried to call a halt to this at an early point before the momentum reached a stage where it became unstoppable. We expected 20 or 30 people to turn up to talk about the issue, and 150 people arrived.
And so we knew we had the makings of a campaign.
People were saying, what about 38 degrees? And I hadn't the faintest idea what they were talking about.
A lot of people assume that 38 Degrees is a big organisation, but we're actually quite a small team. And we were finding there were loads of great campaign suggestions that were really important, but we just didn't have a big enough staff team to run.
Libraries are so important to people for so many different reasons. They are a safe haven for a lot of people.
£2.5 million of public money was due to be spent tearing out the heart and the soul of the town centre.
That you should dig up a national park and bury nuclear waste in a cavern the size of the city of York was just beyond belief.
So we set up campaigns by you to give our members the tools to run those campaigns themselves. We're finding that it's a really great way to let 38 Degrees members massively increase their impact.
The first thing you realise is how easy it is to set up a petition.
Within a couple of days, we had hundreds of signatures.
Suddenly the petition started to happen. You watch it hour by hour and more people would be creeping up.
The temptation to get up in the morning just to see how many votes had come in overnight.
And then we realised we could actually send out the petition to the councillors and make them aware.
It's very, very fast. And you can see people's names appearing when you sign. Within a few weeks we had our 4,000 signatures, which is what we needed in order to get the reopening of the library discussed by full council.
38 Degrees were amazing because they just helped us to get our message out. The first thing we did was to call a demonstration in the town. They came with their own banners, there were kids, old, young, it was just a complete mixture. We had our local MP on the corner, and suddenly he started to change his attitude from being sitting on the fence to realising that actually this was his electorate. These were people who could affect his future, and he started to make noises in the press.
Essentially, it's a simple process. You click a link that appears on the email, it takes you directly to the site. The site explains what the campaign is, and those are my words. In a very short space of time, 6 or 7 weeks, we went from 0 to 50,000 plus signatures. All of a sudden, you felt as though you had an army of people behind you.
After 2.5 years of literally blood, sweat and loads of tears, the judge looked at the local councillor and directed him to negotiate with the local community to have this library officially reopened.
The feeling when that decision came through was just total and absolute elation. People could not believe that, I think it was 6 or 7 weeks from start to finish, that we had created a campaign, mustered so much support, and that all of that had had an impact on political thinking, and it was just wonderful.
It was that sort of leaping around moment, then followed by quiet reflection, and actually, it was a bit tearful. And then you think, well, these things have been down for hundreds of years, and they're still going to be there for hundreds of years.
There are ministers and prime ministers telling us it's the community that matters and it's the grassroots that matters, but there's no mechanism really for people to express their view. I would suggest that anybody who feels strongly about an issue consider this particular side.
Those signatures are very powerful. You may think it's a little click, but actually that little click, that signature, has contributed to a local community keeping their library.
What 38 Degrees does, it is an absolute catalyst. It just is a fantastic toolkit for redressing the balance of power, I suppose. Keep it small, keep it tight, keep it creative, keep people informed, and you'll be surprised. You will be surprised.